Working at the dump cause he doesn't commit any crimes. Every single week he sees the same trash can arrive. Never thought to ask why there always was a man inside. But inside a trash can you never know what you can find. Starbucks Wi-Fi and decent audio equipment too. So tune into Cold Hard Trash for you. It's a podcast. Welcome to Cold Hard Trash CRT episode 109. I'm your host, Trash Can Jones.
And I'm Brad, your fellow host.
And we are still in the Brisket HQ. Still in a little bit of echoey, so we didn't apologize last time if the audio sounds off. But I will apologize this time if the audio sounds a little echoey. I apologize. Not much we can do about it.
Yeah, comes with the territory.
Yes, it do. Yes, it do. So, have you heard of the man named Don King?
No.
You probably know his image. He's been one of those guys who's got a very particular image and has been, been made in cartoons a lot. Like, if you ever see a fight promoter with real big, wild, wacky hair, it's usually they're making a Don King reference. This is what he looks like. Let me try and find a better picture of him. He's got that big, tall hair kind of guy. Anyway, Don King was quoted by Mike Tyson as saying he had done worse for black boxers as a promoter than any white promoter had ever done in history. Because he was an absolute crook.
Damn.
He was the guy, you know how it's always been going down like the Jake Paul fights, nobody gets paid and all that shit. He was the originator of that. Of just
nobody gets paid?
Yeah, like those celebrity fights, people end up like not getting the paychecks. It's always a big thing and they don't get the amount of money they're promised. It usually happens with like the Creator Clash that happened with the Jake Paul fight and like Floyd Mayweather, I think. It always...
So like Floyd didn't get the money?
I think Jake didn't get the money.
Oh.
I think. There's a lot of money discrepancies that always happens with big super fights like that. And Don King was the originator of shit like that. Even though he put on some of the biggest matches, because that was his whole shit, was he put on the Thrilla in Manila, which I believe was Ali and Frazier out in Manila, was the whole thing. He did a deal with the government to be able to get the fight there under his promotion. Mm. And yeah, it was a whole big thing where he made himself a great name and was like, yeah, if you want to be the big name and get the big fights, then you got to come to Don King. And I'm the one that's going to get you the name recognition. And then he would get him the big fights, but then just be that guy of like, all right, we're going to get $1 million for this fight, but I'm going to deduct my $200,000 finder's fee, and then I'm going to make you go to this camp that costs $100,000, and then I'm going to make you take these tests that cost $50,000, and then by the end of it, you're only left with like $300,000 of your $1 million purse. And it's just like, what the fuck? And yeah, he stiffed so much money, most infamously, most horrifically. Oh, I hate the man for it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. So Muhammad Ali, a very, very unfortunate towards the end of his life. You probably know he suffered from Parkinson's. He went back into boxing when he shouldn't have because he needed money and obviously worsened his condition. After I don't think it might have been Rumble in the Jungle, which was the second sort of Thrilla in Manila type of thing. Ali versus George Foreman? I forget. It was after a fight where Muhammad Ali had taken a lot of damage and was supposed to get paid a large amount of sum from Don King. Don King didn't pay up. Muhammad Ali was obviously suffering from Parkinson's, was not in his very great mental capacities at this point. So Muhammad Ali's lawyers, they have this lawsuit going out to him. Don King sends a man to Ali's hospital bed with a contract and $50,000 in cash. Ali signs that contract and drops the lawsuit. Ali's lawyers said he cried when he found out that happened. God, he needed the money, and he wasn't of right mind, and that was a lot of money to flash in front of him, so he signed it away.
When Ali found out what?
When he found out the contract, that was it. He was a little bit kind of soup in the head.
He didn't know what he was signing?
Yeah, and he was supposed to get paid I think like $5 million by Don King, and signed it away for $50,000 just to not have to deal with it anymore. And yeah, he got stiffed out of so much money. I mean, Muhammad Ali, luckily he had lots of family and lots of people to be able to take care of him, so he didn't suffer through the end of his life. He lived a very comfortable life towards the end, but it should have been much more comfortable. He was very undercompensated by Don King.
Yeah, I mean, taking advantage of someone who has Parkinson's.
It's the shittiest thing. He also killed 2 people. One was real justifiable homicide, and one he served 6 years in prison for. He's a shit person. Don King sucks. He's still alive, unfortunately. Can't wait till you rest in hell. You pop in a champagne bottle. Fucking rest in hell with Margaret Thatcher.
What do you care about Margaret Thatcher?
Nah, it's just always fun to hate on her because she was like the super anti-trans and anti-gay rights person. So like, fuck her.
Oh, yeah. I know very little about Margaret Thatcher. I just know that people piss on her grave.
Yeah, she was like one of the biggest political activists to be like, you guys aren't human, you're the type shit. So it's gross. She's a gross person. She's very rest in hell. Don't rest in hell. I hope you're getting poked in the ass in hell, nonstop.
Yeah, a little
devil
pitchfork.
It's like, you've seen that comic, like the guy who gets to hell and he's poking people with pitchforks. Like, if I had a second pitchfork, I could do it better. It's like Satan's like, employee of the month.
So, you know what dead internet theory is, right?
Yeah, internet's only made of bots. You're not actually talking to anybody.
So, I recently re-downloaded Twitter. I actually did it maybe a month or two ago.
That'll really make you believe dead internet theory.
Oh yeah, I mean, I finally started actually using it a bit more. I mean, just scrolling on it and stuff like that. And there are so many bots on there. It's ridiculous. It's laughable that Musk ever tried to back out of his original purchase of Twitter based on the number of bot accounts on there.
No. He probably just pumped the shit out of them after buying them. That's how you make the money. People are probably paying you shitloads of money to have those bot accounts.
Well, the whole way it works is you pay $8 for Twitter Blue.
You're verified or whatever account. Yeah, you're checkmarked now.
And so, for every single bot account you do that. But at the same time, having that check mark also makes you eligible for payout when you have very popular posts or something like that.
Ah, I see.
So I don't know how it makes money, but
I'm assuming the payout is only a fraction, right? So it's probably they make the money off your post, and then
a lot of people make decent money off of these bots, I presume.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like YouTube. They pay you the fraction of whatever your thing earned, your 5% or whatever. Because YouTube's still going to take the majority of the money they're making from you, but that's what the partnership program
advertisers
is.
Don't really like Twitter like that anymore. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it works out. Who knows? But these, I spent some time using Threads, which is the Instagram Twitter. And that's just sort of full of millennials, and a lot of them, a couple 4 or 5 months ago when I was using it more. Actual people that write books, and they'll do creative writing prompts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get over to Twitter and it's the same exact thing, but it's all AI, and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
I read sometimes you consume a piece of media to get mad at it, a hate read.
Sure. Yeah.
And the thing is, I look at how some of these stories are written, and I think that they are put together with these errors to cause people to interact with them.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So there's a story where some guy goes to a coffee shop and he pays $2 for a coffee every single time. And one time, this guy charges him $4. He doesn't say anything. He just doesn't go back for a while. Eventually, he goes back, and the guy charges him $4 again. Or no, I forget what it is. But then he points out this kid sitting there, and he's yeah, you thought I was just overcharging you, but I've been actually charging you double this entire time to pay for her school. And it's then he's now I go and I pay $8 for the coffee, and it's what are you talking about? Also, one, you weren't charging them double the entire time if you did it once from 2 to 4, unless it's a $1 coffee. 2, that's not okay.
Yeah, right. I guess it is if you're if that's what you want to sell your coffee for. This is why I sell my coffee for high prices to put my daughter through school.
That's not charging double.
Yeah,
that's just the price.
Right at that point, that's just the price though. Unless specifically you hate this guy, so I'm gonna make you pay double so my daughter can go to better college.
Yeah. And also they lost track of the cost of the thing.
Yeah,
it said $2. Then one time charges him $4, and then he's I've been making you pay double the entire time. what? And then he says he pays $8 now, so you pay 4 times the cost? 8 times the cost? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I expected, like, okay, they throw these errors in there to, pump engagement of people pointing it out.
Yeah, Cunningham's Law.
All the comments were just more bots. Talking about the lessons.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's a shit. That's a shit place to be. I'm glad I never got a Twitter.
Awful.
Glad I'm not on there.
There's this other one. How did it go? Basically, like some guy, like trying to order an Uber, and this guy keeps like answering it and then canceling it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like finally like meets the guy, and he's like, "Oh, my daughter died, and so I come over here, and I keep on like requesting rides to, like what if I would be picking her up? This is the time that she'd be getting out of school or whatever." And it's like, what? So you're just gonna go and like
request and cancel ride? I get for that moment of like, oh, the Uber's coming. Like I can act like I'm with my driver. Oh, what?
Right?
Then I don't fucking. Doesn't make any sense. That's definitely some AI wrote that shit. They just like skipped over a lapse in logic because they were like, it doesn't exist. They don't have that logic in them.
Yeah, and then he says he cancels the ride, and then he also drives him to the airport for free, and he tips him $50 or something like that. But you can't. The ride is canceled. You can't tip him. You can't give him 5 stars. It all just pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's definitely just like you're saying. Dead internet theory is probably very true on Twitter. Dead Twitter theory.
Yeah. So. However, there's better tweets about Pokemon on there than Threads.
All right.
So that's what I stay for. That's what I look for.
The non-bot Pokemon tweets.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think there are bot. I don't think a bot understands what's going on in
Pokemon's
right
too advanced for bots.
I mean, of course, you could have like bot style, like bot tweets for this type of stuff, but like not like competitive. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, no, whenever you explain it to me, it's one of those things where it's just like, I can understand all the things you're saying, but it's just like, damn, that gets like complex to be like juggling 5 balls. It's like, it's literally looking at juggling to where like juggling looks simple, but then the second you try to do it, you're like, oh, that my brain can't do this. It's a lot of like, my brain and hands don't work that. Like you see it and then someone making it look easy. You're like, yeah, I can throw 3 balls in the air, and then you get 3 balls. And you're like, immediately, like you can't get the rhythm, can't get the flow. It's tough.
Anytime I see someone juggling, I just say, I can accept that I will never be able to do that in my entire life.
Exactly.
And that's the first thing I think of. I do not even begin to assume that it's possible for me to do that.
The amount of times I've tried just to be like, it doesn't seem that hard, right? Like I swear I can. Then I do it for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'll never. It's just there's a story of this one guy. I listened to his podcast. Where he said like when he was in the army, he was just like playing pool, and like it just came to him all of a sudden like, oh, I can juggle. And he just picked up 3 pool balls and just started juggling. He's like, yeah, I can do this. Never juggled before that. He always knew that he couldn't, but he just like, in that moment, it clicked for him like, oh, I know how to juggle. And just started juggling. Maybe that'll happen one day for me. Maybe it'll just click.
Blast, yeah.
Right? I'll get the Jimmy Neutron brain blast. That'd be sweet.
I want to see the moment that you have this realization and try it in a bar. And you just like...
I can juggle and then do it and then immediately throw it up like I'm just drunk.
Yeah,
I can't.
Off screen, you hear a glass break and a woman scream.
Turns out I was just drunk. I'm not able to juggle. It's just way too confident. I finished Earthbound Beginnings recently, Mother 1, the prequel to Earthbound. And goddamn, I almost like it better than Earthbound.
Earthbound Beginnings, is that like a name of the mod or something, or like a translation? Because Earthbound's the only one that's in English. The
translation, yes. So they did an actual translation, official one that was I think actually released on the Virtual Shop. It's called Earthbound Beginnings, but it is made in the NES engine. So that's the whole difference. Is this ROM hack is basically 1-to-1 from the NES game, but made on the Super Nintendo engine in the Earthbound engine. So it looks like a Super Nintendo game, but it's basically just a 1-to-1 port. And you can feel a lot of it like it's an NES RPG, like a lot of the grinding and a lot of the stuff that you have to do, like the esoteric hints that you have to figure out, like definitely feels like it's a Nintendo game. Like they didn't put a lot of fit and finish and polish on it because they really didn't have the opportunity to, that limited thing. But
I think they just liked RPGs like that.
Part of it is like you just don't have like the memory to, right? Because you have a town that has like how many NPCs can you fit in the town, right? There's a limit to that when you're on an NES cartridge, and it's like okay, you only have 7, so what information do we have to divulge for you, and how do we spread that out among the NPCs? And like 3 of the NPCs are just, it's a nice day today, like shit like that. And so it's a little bit like the way they try to convey the hints. Maybe it is a little bit like that, where like they really wanted you to try to use your intuition, because like. The biggest thing was when you go to like the hub world that you can just kind of teleport in and out of. There's this guy that just says, "Oh yeah, I've been writing this song. Let me know what you think of it." And then like everything stops down, all the UI goes away, and he sings this song like really deliberately, it seems. And it's like, I guess cool song, bro. But like, and then you're supposed to use your intuition, like, oh, it's deliberately telling me that because this is the tutorial of where to find all like the melodies in the game. And it says like, part of it is like, in this songbird, she won't sing because you have to go find a songbird's canary to get her song back so she can, feel that she can sing again. Like all these different things. Like it doesn't tell you like, hey, this is going to show you where all the parts of the game are, but you have to use your intuition. That's kind of the part I'm talking about where it's definitely an NES game. Parts of it are like, you're supposed to use your own brain and you're supposed to have a manual you're reading from while you're playing, you feel like.
I respect that stuff, though.
Yeah, I definitely do, too. And when I was playing it, I was like, I really love, like, having to figure this out. There's a lot of parts that I struggled, but I kind of enjoyed it. I can see why people would be a little put off by it. I definitely recommend if you're going to play the Earthbound series, start with Earthbound, the actual Earthbound, before Earthbound Beginnings. A lot more player-friendly. But the whole journey and story of Earthbound Beginnings, so good, so good. I was driving a tank through part of it. There was giant robot fights. It was cool as shit. I love that game.
Who the hell's the final boss?
Gigas. Actual Gigas. You actually get to see Gigas before he goes fucking crazy. Not to spoil. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. You know it's Gigas because it's the Starman and everything coming. But you actually get to see Gigas, learn more about him. It's fucking cool. That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, because, I mean, you don't even really talk about Gigas that much in Earthbound, right?
Because it's Pokey, because the guy lets you know, Porky, Pokey, he lets you know, like, oh, Gigas was this, super ultimate powerful being, but his mind is broken now, so now I'm the one who's, like, basically being his vessel to control him. So Porky ends up being, like, the main bad guy, but Gigas is, like, the power source, the churning behind it all.
Yeah, so he's the final boss.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, neat. When are you going to play Mother 3?
After I finish the Resident Evil remake. That is going to be next on the list. I realized that I hadn't played the Resident Evil 4 remake since it came out, and the last time we went to Garrett's place, it was one of his friends was playing the remake, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of this that I just straight don't remember, because I played the original Resident Evil 4 so many times, and when I played the remake, a lot of that knowledge came in handy to me, so I just kind of like, it just overlapped and stuck, where like the original game was all that I remembered. So now I'm going back and playing the remake, like, wow, there's so much of this I don't remember. It's so fun. Mm-hmm. Love it. Love Resident Evil 4.
I saw that clip of like a guy like climbing onto the roof and you just shoot him in the head with a shotgun like 3 times.
Yeah, the ladder of dreams. Step right up, everybody. There's like 2 different people trying to climb the ladder. I'm just sitting there like, nope, try again. Nope, try again. It's pretty great. Pretty great, because even though they do a lot more of like fluid motion and like for their attacks and like attack animations and all that different, so you can move while aiming. Like Resident Evil 4 was a lot, the tank controls, you had to stop and aim, and their animations were very like, you could predict them and move out of the way. It's very hard to like dodge people in that game, but if you can get your back to a ladder, you're in good shape. Just let people climb up and be like, come on, you got it this time. Ah, you almost had it. It's so fun. And then inevitably you don't realize that they could jump up to the right of you and you just get smacked in the back with a sickle.
Mm-hmm. All part of the experience.
All part of the experience, Resident Evil 4. God, that's a good game. Top tier Resident Evil series. Have you played any of the Resident Evil games?
No.
Highly recommend. Playing the originals.
One.
And did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
It was one of the ones that's, especially the original series, definitely hard for like a new person, I would say, to get into, because the fixed camera angles, the controls are kind of like sloppy and weird. It's supposed to be that way. That's kind of the whole thing of it, is by the end of the game, they're meant to, you're not supposed to be able to have the controls fully down and fluid, because it's supposed to be a horror game. You're supposed to be like, what do I do? How do I do this the whole time? But at the same time, they have S clears of an hour and a half on the game because you're supposed to be able to speed run it. So, meh.
Yeah, I just remember. I think you told me that like you need to burn the bodies.
Yeah, they added that back into Resident Evil 1 and 0. Super annoying Crimson Heads. That was the thing.
I thought it was all of them.
No, it's only in Resident Evil 1 and 0.
No, I meant all of the enemies.
Yes, it's all the enemies in Resident Evil 1. I think they flipped it on its head because originally Jill was easy mode and Chris was hard mode in the original Resident Evil on PS1 because Jill got a lockpick, so she was able to use any of the small key doors that she was able to just bypass and get a lot of the extra stuff for free. And Chris just got nothing. But in the remake, Jill gets her lockpick and Chris gets a lighter. So he's actually able to just have a free inventory slot for the lighter. So it's not exactly easier, but he's able to deal with Crimson Heads a little bit easier because you only have to carry the kerosene around, whereas Jill has to carry around a kerosene and a lighter. So she has less inventory space.
What, Crimson Heads, is that like the type of zombie in 1 or something?
It's what the zombies become. So it's not really super well documented and really.
I didn't get very far in it. I got like a handful of herbs and I mixed them together and said cool. Yeah. And then I saved and I just didn't pick it up again.
Yeah, Resident Evil's the type of game they love to just drop like a note that tells you like everything about everything. And Crimson Heads is one of the ones there's like I think one note about it just because it was made to be like a super enemy for the game. So it's not like once you kill the enemy, I think it starts a timer of 15 minutes and then it's literally whenever room you're in, the timer just keeps going. If you don't get back to that body within 15 minutes, it reanimates as a super strong, super fast zombie. Fucks you up. So yeah,
that's the Crimson Head.
That's the Crimson Head, yeah. And you fight one, I think, just stock in one of the the mini boss fights, but every single zombie can become a Crimson Head unless you blow its head off with a critical shot or the Magnum.
Is a critical shot like a thing you can do, or is it like luck?
It's so that's the thing with Resident Evil is you can aim like up and down. And apparently you have legitimate like accuracy. So if you're just aiming straight, it's luck. But you can aim up at their head, like flick up and make it like a 90% chance that you hit headshots if you get good enough at it. Because you're supposed to be able to aim up at the ceiling and you're basically like you lock up and then you lock down. But if you can shoot in the middle of your aiming up animation, then you can pop their heads a lot more consistently. Little trick my brother taught me.
So that's how you speed run.
Yeah, that's
Just
part of
pop
the...
them on the head.
It's still like a random chance, but yeah, the good RNG, if you get a lot of head pops, you don't have to sit and burn bodies. Because that can be annoying, because you can't even run. Crimson Heads can run, so you can't even slip past them like you can regular zombies. Honestly,
but they don't become Crimson Heads because you shoot them in the head.
Right, that's what I was saying. I think probably speedrunning tactics are probably not to kill most of the zombies, like only kill what you have to. Because that's kind of what they want you to do in the original Resident Evil games. They give you like very little ammo, and they want you to be like, oh, I only have 10 bullets. Can I really afford to kill this one zombie? Like, what if I come to a boss right after this type thing? So you're always supposed to be on that kind of thing. So I haven't watched a lot of Resident Evil speedruns, but I would bet that it's a lot of just bypassing zombies as opposed to trying to stop for headshots. Just a hunch, though. I have no idea.
No, I think that makes sense.
Resident Evil 5. If you haven't played any of the Resident Evil games, then we should play Resident Evil 5 together. You would love that.
Is multiplayer?
Yeah, that's the only one that's... not the only one. Resident Evil 6 is also co-op, but Resident Evil 6 is... I won't give it a thumbs down. It's not a Resident Evil game. It'd also be kind of fun for us to play just because it's super over-the-top, like, action. Resident Evil 5 is great, though. I'll let you play Chris. You can be big, strong, super muscular man running through Africa, punching his way through.
Nice. What's even like the most like fucked up thing in Resident Evil 1? Because I know it was like the dogs.
What do you mean by fucked up? Like grossest?
Yeah.
I guess Tyrant, just because he has his heart on the outside of his body. And there's like no bottom lip and everything. He looks real gross.
Yeah, and then like later in you get like giant worm things and like...
Yeah, the little like leech. I guess the leeches are pretty gross too from Resident Evil 0, which are technically, I guess, also in Resident Evil 1, but not in the same amount. The most fucked up thing, honestly, probably the dogs, just because you get so many close-ups of them and you get to see them like eating and shit. Like they've tried to make that like super gross.
Yeah, and just how crazy some of the stuff in like later games gets. I feel like they figured out like what people like about them.
Oh yeah, like especially the neck whipworm shit, like in Resident Evil 4. Like they do that in pretty much every game now. You got to have the giant transformation second phase for people. Super cool, super gruesome. They do that in Resident Evil 5 too. That's the whole thing. In Resident Evil 5, people didn't like at the start because they said it kind of copied Resident Evil 4, but now if you look back at the entire like overarching story of Resident Evil, it very much makes sense why they went from from it's slow walking zombies to 4 to 5 to now what they tried to do with 6 and then oopsies went too far and we got to restart this shit. Because it was a whole thing like in Resident Evil 1, they have a thing of like, we synthesized this virus from a plant and we were able to put it into leeches and that's what's able, like they feed on human blood, so it was able to infect humans. Like that was the process of it. Went from plant to leech to human. Whatever the science of that is. I don't know, probably not real, but fuck, that's... And so it's like, all right, they go to now in Africa and they find like these deep ancient mines where there's flowers, where they've harvested the ancient T-virus. Like, okay, that makes sense. That's actually like, they mentioned that in Resident Evil 1 that they got this from flowers. Now in Resident Evil 5, here we are finding in these ancient caves the original synthesization of the T-virus. Cool, that makes sense. Why were they using the T-virus? Well, they wanted to make super soldiers, people who wouldn't feel pain, who would be able to obey orders and just keep going even after they're dead. Yeah, the first ones kind of sucked and they're slow, shambling, not listening zombies, but once you get to Resident Evil 4 and 5, guess what? They're actually a little bit better. Now they can use guns and shit. We figured this out. And part of Resident Evil 4 was they found like the ancient Plagas, which was like the mind control shit. So like that's our control factor. Now we can actually get these zombies to listen to us and be a little bit more intelligent.
So it's Umbrella Corp the entire time?
Yeah, it's Umbrella Corp, which then I believe partners with Tricell, which is a more like international organization that's working in Africa that has a whole like does their medical thing over there. They do a lot of like Tricell is the organization that was bringing the medicine to Africa, and it was actually Umbrella.
Wait, so in Resident Evil, this isn't like a global zombie pandemic?
No. So the start is...
It is really just like local to like Raccoon City and the mansion for then. And
Raccoon City is the ground zero. Yeah, it's the start. Well, technically the mansion is the start. And then Resident Evil 0, you find out, was like the second mansion that was like the training mansion. Literally, it's like the training facility for Umbrella executives. And then the original mansion was like where the I think it's the Spencer family, where they lived. And then, yeah, Resident Evil 2 was the actual incident where it kicked off and, like, the shit escaped the mansion and it became a big bioweapon, which is why they nuked Raccoon City to hopefully just, like, not let this spread anywhere. And it didn't. It didn't spread anywhere else in the United States. And they were good. They were great. And then Leon Kennedy got to be, Secret Service, got voluntold that he was going to be the president's right-hand man and be helping him out. And then when the president's daughter got kidnapped, he was like, oh, gosh darn it, give me that handgun and a can of boo-boo spray. I'll go out and find her. And that's when you learn that Umbrella, because that's the whole thing with, and not to spoil Resident Evil 4, but Ada's looking for the whole sample from the Plagas people because she's going to take that back to Umbrella. And that's when they're going to go do Resident Evil 5. And that's the whole shit. Like, people were like, man, this can't even exist without Resident Evil 4. Like, it's a logical progression of the story. Like, it makes sense. They were literally trying to make these things that were weird in this weird pocket. They found, like, this, it's like an ancient fossilized parasite that you find, like, in the mines in Resident Evil 4 that these people are still able to use to mind control. And Umbrella's like, sounds like we could use that. If we combine it with our T-virus and make it the G-virus, we can make it a cool guy. And that's Wesker's whole shit in Resident Evil 5 is like, this is going to bring on the new humanity because it turns you into this giant monster. But if you can control your mind while being in that giant monster, then you could just be a giant monster. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, that's Wesker's whole shit.
I mean, he's right.
Yes, it's pretty much. That's Wesker's whole thing is like, I'm going to make a new breed of human. I don't know what is. I guess Wesker's like, he's a superhuman, but the second he doesn't have his like stabilization shots, he turned into a tentacle man. So I don't know. I don't know what his end game is. He just wants tentacle people everywhere. Fuck him.
Noble cause.
I don't know. Fuck his ass. Throw him in a volcano. Shoot him with a rocket launcher. Get him out of here.
I'm assuming that's what actually happens to him.
Yeah, drop him in a volcano and shoot him with a rocket launcher. Hell yeah, you do.
I like that. I like knowing about this stuff about Resident Evil.
It's cool. Like, they like I said, they go through a lot of lengths to explain like everything.
Like why because like the whole gameplay difference. I don't know. The thing is, I figured that would rub people the wrong way, like more, and it didn't seem to, except for 6, like you said.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's all like makes sense within the context.
Yeah, it's all like a logical progression. People were a little weary of Resident Evil 4 when it first came out just because it was like the high action thing. And the same thing with Resident Evil 5. They were like, this is only like this. They're only making the action game because Resident Evil 4 was popular. And it's like, no, it's because we can't just keep shooting these slow-ass zombies. If Umbrella just keeps making zombies and goes, darn it, we did it wrong again, then they're just a shit company. Like, they got to get better, right? The bad guys also have to progress. Like, It's just really funny. They do have some of those guys that are still like, oh, dumb zombie, but they're usually like really crazy monster zombies that are still dumb. Like guys that are super tentacle arms and have like needles coming out of their bodies and shit because they're still experimenting and trying to go like break grounds. And yeah, those people, they still don't have like the super good control on them, but they're foot soldiers. Yeah, fuck it. They got that figured out. They got people who can shoot AKs now. Deal with it. That's what they were looking for at the start.
Why don't they just arrest the CEO?
I think because it's
Pretty bad guy.
well, because that's what Resident Evil 6 people were mad about because it became a thing of like everybody's in on it. Umbrella is everywhere. We betrayed everybody. Like it was just betrayal after betrayal after betrayal. And how deep does this go? All the way to the top and up. Yeah, it was just nonstop, like shark over shark over shark over shark, and people were like, "Okay, we're done here. We understand." Like people were still not on the level of like accepting this whole story of zombies turning into super soldiers. So they were still just like, "What the fuck is going on?" We liked Resident Evil 5, but this is going too far. I can kind of understand why they went to that because, like I said, the bad guys keep getting bigger, keep getting sharks to jump and whatnot, but. Too many sharks all at one time. They did 3 or 4 technically campaigns in that game, all like interconnecting and all this different stuff. And the stories were just, they're not great. The beat-to-beat story was cool. There's like really cool, like Chris is flying a jet, like Leon, you're in the city. It's about to blow. Get out of there. And, like Leon like lands a helicopter in like the 30th story of a building and shit. Like there's a lot of cool, crazy moments. But yeah, the overarching, it just, not a Resident Evil game. Not great. Mm-hmm. Unfortunate. I wish they kept doing more co-op Resident Evils. Here's hoping Resident Evil 0 is good co-op. No more just, hey, you stand over there, Rebecca. I'm going to go fight the boss.
Resident Evil 2? Zero remake?
Resident Evil 0 HD. Apparently that's their next one. They're making, I think it's Code Veronica and 0 are next on the list.
What's the most recent, like, in the timeline? Like
Requiem just came out.
Okay, so they are still doing those. They're just also remaking all the old ones, which I think is neat.
Yeah, it's definitely they need a polish, especially those older ones. And this new style that they've made of like the horror mixing with action is fantastic. So I love it. It works well for both like the super fighting 50 people all at once and walking alone in a hallway when the lights are off. It's great.
Well, the thing about fighting 50 people all at once is it's not like you can beat them. For the most part, right?
In Resident Evil, yeah, you're supposed to. Especially
in Resident Evil 4, I remember, at least from that like one like kind of opening thing where you're like getting chased and there's like a chainsaw guy and everything, and you just got to wait it out.
That's the one time you get to wait it out. Where you get to, oh god, I don't have to fight all these, but like I just did the thing on stream on Friday where I had to hold my ground with Lewis. It's a kill count instead of a wait count. So it's literally you have to kill at least, I think it's 55 people before the thing ends. I think it's 55, or if you kill like the big boss at the end, then it just ends after that. So you can kill like everybody besides the big boss, or kill everybody up until the big boss, and just kill him. The big boss only spawns over a kill count too. I think you have to kill a certain amount for him. That's crazy. The Resident Evil 4, when they get into the action parts, they expect you're gonna have to kill a lot.
Yeah, I guess the opening scene, like you just didn't have a lot of tools at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. Is it's meant to give you that like the helpless feeling. Because especially because Resident Evil 4, it's been around for so long. Like when I first played that, I was like, I got this shit. Let me just fucking kill everybody. Like it set me right away. Let me tell you, I was like, I gotta actually do this correctly. Because I got fucked up pretty quick. You cannot kill people as easy as you can in that game. It takes like 4 shots to even make them stagger. Nuts. Speaking of it being nuts, what's nuts is we got to end this one even earlier because we got to get back to Brisket Town. But thanks for sticking with us here in Brisket HQ. We hope you enjoyed these a little bit shorter episodes of Cold Hard Trash CRT, episode 107 and 108.
Master.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend, the grill master. We're going to have some good old meat here in a second. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in next week for some more cold, hard trash action. If you enjoyed what you heard, then be sure to let us know. Give a 5-star and a comment and all that engagement. Be sure to check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrashCanJones. And see you later. Ding. Bing.